Guzo. I'm I'm a big person in existence. I'm a big person in the big way. Welcome. I'm going to Kalakana. Yes, I'm the head of the God of Thunder. Welcome. Welcome. Remember, the head of the God of Thunder is not God. And I'll just leave it at that. You should get what I'm saying. Anyway, thank you to all my returning viewers. For the new people, since I was just here a couple hours ago, I'll just say two things. One, my matrilineal village is Ebem or Hafia. So if you want to learn about me, look up the village of Ebem or Hafia in West Africa and you can get a sense of where my people come from. I'm a manifestation of my people. And I'll leave it at that. Obviously, there are bad people amongst my people. I'm not a manifestation of them. I'll leave it at that. Second, my government name is Chimoge Chijoke Ibe. Chimoge Chijoke Ibe. Look that up, you should find me. Welcome everyone. May we all be blessed. May my ancestors be strong here. Anyway, thank you for joining me. This is an important message. I'm just going to get right into it. You see, I think the world needs to grow up. The world needs to grow up. So I've been hearing more talk of Kanye. I know his legal name is Ye now. I'll just leave it at that. I made a live stream about him before. This is another one because I saw something else today. And it was a video, and I don't necessarily take issue with the video. I haven't seen it yet. But it was a video talking about the so-called old Kanye, and I'll just go into that. There's an idea that Kanye West has had many different eras as a person. They talk about old Kanye, and then it gets fuzzy, and they tend to market based off of music albums that he released. I just want to be very direct. No matter how good you think someone's music is, that doesn't mean they're a good person. And I want to go further and talk more about what basically, again, I don't want to get too much into the metaphysics of it, but what basically should be considered a good person, what I would call onyuku, a big person, okay? And I'm just being very simple to the point of being slightly inaccurate here, but just because I didn't hit the target exactly doesn't mean I didn't win the darts game. You get what I'm saying? Let me move. You see, a big person, onyuku, is someone with whom you cannot find any major moral faults. And I want to say moral. They might not be pleasant to you, but that doesn't mean they're immoral. Kanye West, throughout his public life, has done many immoral things. And yes, being unclear with something you're saying, even after there's been much controversy and you clearly have the ability to clarify, and I want to clarify something. If someone became famous yesterday and 10 million people are asking them what one lyric made and they don't even have an aid, it's not their fault if the world doesn't understand what they said. But for someone who's been that prominent for that long, and we have to be clear, even when he first came to prominence, he had a lot of resources. He could clarify a lot of things. And then there's a lot of things he's clarified that have been crazy. Now, again, as I said before, he has done some good things, he's said some good things, but it's not enough. So when looking at Kanye West, we have to stop being obsessed with our taste in music. Let me move. Abum Shango Shango, ha ha. 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 Abum Shango Shango, ka. Let me just give the typical timeline. So in the early 2000s, Kanye released 3 albums. Okay, he released 3 albums. One in like 2003, one in 2004, and there's one in 2007. As I'm saying this, I'm wondering, was it 4? Um, No, I believe it was three. But anyway, there was one in that he released in 2007 that I would say is the end of an era. That was the one called Graduation because they had a college theme. And I will say, when I first listened to these, and again, I'll say I listened to them too young. That's not Kanye's fault, really. Okay, because children shouldn't listen to his music. That's a society problem. We don't have enough gatekeeping around children. But I want to add two things. One, preventing adults from doing things is not gatekeeping things from children. And I'll leave it at that. Two, gatekeeping things from children should be done in such a way that you don't implicitly tell them they're missing out on something. And I'll just leave it at that. It's just not done properly. Anyway, with that being said, I re-listened to that stuff as an adult. So I'll just give my opinion of that. But I will note I had an overall positive impression of his music when I heard it as a child. And again, adults can make music that children can listen to. It's just that's not the nature of his music. But anyway, um, as an adult, when I look at that first era of music, at first, because I've re-listened to them multiple times. At first, I thought, okay, that's very good, above average music. When I listen to it now, I would say it's probably above average for the time, and I'll leave it at that. We have a global music crisis, and I'll go into that in the future. But that's not specifically about Kanye. Again, music has a collective aspect, but also there are just a lot of musicians who do not put their foot in it. And let me move. Abu Mama Yuha, all Abu Mama Yuha, Paul Perry, Abu Mama Yuha, Nuwa, Abu Mama Yuha, Paul Perry, Abu Mama Yuha, Paul Perry, Abu Mama Yuha, Nuwa, Abu Mama Yuha, Shango Shango, Amadyuha, Kaka, Shango Shango, Amadyuha. Yeah, if you say Shango Shango, that just means the whole thing Amadyuha. Shango. Learning more about it's complicated. Apparently, that name, just when you say that, just it applies to some saints. You know what I'm saying? The well, that's debatable. What am I saying? Anyway, two saints that the name applies to, and again, those are Onyeka, those are expansion people. I'm not talking about the saints the Catholic Church is talking about. One, Neptune, god of the sea, and two, Pikachu. Both can be called Shango. Neptune, when it comes to Neptune, Shango is not his best name. When it comes to Pikachu, Shango is among his best names. But oddly, the name Shango describes Neptune better than Pikachu. And I'll leave it at that. These things are complicated. Now, let's get back to this world. Let's get back to the issue of Kanye. So you have that. Then you have an album he released in 2010, which is very famous. And I'll just say, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I maintain that that is a very complicated project because sonically it is much better than most music that has been produced of late, as in of the last several decades. And it does, in terms of its theme, seem to present an interesting narration of life of a certain type of celebrity. At the same time, he's never clarified his intent behind that. So that leaves us in a muddy zone. And then that leaves us in what I'll call his between 2010 to pre-Trump support era of music. Really, I'll say pre 2016. Let's say 2011 to 2015. There was a lot of stuff that sounded nice at the time, could be listened to nice quickly. We didn't fully know the intent. I'll just say this. As an adult, I just use that music to hype myself up to do stuff. Now I do other things that help me better. I'll leave it at that. After that, I will just say the music quality dropped off, and I'll leave it at that. And then public Trump support. Then he retracted the Trump support, which I'll note is like at least a halfway repentance, and then did his own political stuff. But then he did a lot of other reckless stuff. Again, this is a person who's all over the place. Let me move. Abu Mama Yuha, Ball Boy. Abu Mama Yuha, Paul Petty. Abu Mama Yuha. I've registered viewers. Thank you very much. Every view is a blessing. Thank you for the comments. Every comment is a blessing as well. I read comments at my discretion. Please like, share, and subscribe. You see, overall, what I'm getting at here is that Kanye has never shown himself to be in a high category of morality. And part of morality is actually positively affecting people's lives without a huge drawback. He's never done that. He's just attracted a lot of attention, and that is undeniable. And then if you look at his personal life, it's undeniable he's hurt a lot of people close to him, and we've seen a lot of it. What does this mean? We need to look at him overall as a person when evaluating his actions, and then to the extent possible, not look at him. But I say to the extent possible because he's done a lot to affect public life and he's in the public. So people who can handle it, and I'll say there's a large minority who can, should just look at him like any other, what I will say, what word should I use? Any other, just say it in my language, any other onion zobu nihu oha. Any other person who is onion zobu in public. Any other public figure who is onion zobu. Just look at it like that. Just every once in a while check, monitor, and see what's going on. And then we as a society need to rise to a point where we can actually go and try and positively affect that person's well-being, as well as make sure that they're not negatively affecting other people's well-being. Let me move. Kalakanu, ha ha ha. Shango, shango, ha ha ha. Shango, shango, na hiya ka. Shango, shango, na shango, bia. Shango, shango, bia, 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 bia. Shango, bia, Pikachu, ne bia. Shango, bia, Neptune, ne ba. Shango, bianche, adugu, nuwa. Adugu, nuwa, adugu, nuwa. Shango, Shango, ka 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 ka. Shango, Shango, ba 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 be. Aboom, Shango, Shango, na haka ya. Aboom, Shango, Shango, na uwa ya. Ka. The sun is shining where I am. Kabunam no goha. That's really my message. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. I think I might, let's put up another short. Do I want to amble on screen a bit more? Nah, I think I'm good. Anyway, patronize my business. Check out the About section. I'll see you guys later.